This is $1. Can I buy these scissors with it? Nope. Sad days. What about this black pen? Also nope. Then what's the purpose of $1 if I can't buy anything with it? That's why I went to my local dollar store and picked out a bunch of supplies to make blind bags with. So, shall we get started? Hey guys, so I went to my local Dollar Tree to get all the supplies and materials for this video, and here it is. There was actually a lot more supplies than I thought, so I was just so overwhelmed by the choices that I actually couldn't pick everything that I wanted, but I'm going to show you everything that I got, and we'll just work from there. Let's dump this out. Oof. I believe the total was around like $15, and also tell me why everything was $1.25. 10 years ago, everything was $1 at the Dollar Tree, but I don't know, not anymore apparently. So I have this crystal clear tape. I have some crayons, which is honestly a lot for what it is for $1.25. I think this was a pretty good deal, no? I got some color changing markers. I've never seen these before. I have some scissors. This actually is the same brand of scissors as the one I usually use in my videos, so that was a great find. I have this black pen. I found this, I guess, collage of just post-it notes, which is, now looking at it, there's a lot of options, which is honestly amazing. So I can't wait to use these. I also have some mailing envelopes so that it's easier to make blind bags. I don't know. I have some notebook paper. I have... what even is this? We'll just find out because I want to get my money's worth and I don't want to not use this. And finally, we have these index dividers. Honestly, the only reason I got these because of the clear blind bag I made like a couple months ago. And I think if I wanted to make a clear blind bag, I think this would be a good idea. So, oh, you know what I just noticed? I forgot to get a pencil. That's such a rookie mistake. I make so many mistakes when making arts and crafts in general, so... okay, we're just gonna have to make do with what we have right now. I guess everything's gonna be permanent once I use it, so fingers crossed that things turn out well. But now that we have all of our supplies, shall we get started? Hey, it's voiceover me again. Hi, I'm starting off by using this mailer envelope as the bag part. I'm going to try incorporating these sticky notes into the blind bag. Okay, enough of that nonsense. What the? Do you guys see this black stain? Let's try to ignore that and let's see what we're working with. So for this top part, I'm going to use this large sticky notes as the title space. Press that on real nice. And then I'm going to try and stick on more sticky notes of different shapes and sizes. Are we sticking that on? Guess not. I'm using my scissors to give the sticky note a round edge and didn't even end up using it. In fact, I ended up rearranging all the sticky notes I initially attached to the blind bag, so yay me for being indecisive. And then attaching the round ones. And our last sticky note goes on the corner of the large sticky notes. Now I'm bringing in my clear tape. Open up that real quick, thank you. Anybody else have a hard time finding the edge of a new roll of tape? Yeah, honestly same. I'm using this now to prevent the sticky notes from popping back up. You know, the cheap items from the dollar store can't always expect them to be top-notch quality. Oop, got the tape stuck on the plastic shell. At least it does the job. Next, I'm taking this Papermate black pen. Nice to find a brand like Papermate at the dollar store. And I'm outlining each of the sticky notes so that they pop out of the cover and not just blend in with the mailing envelope. And these color changing markers, I'm actually pretty excited for these. But knowing it's from the dollar store, will it actually be color changing? And I'm pretty sure this white pen is what will cause the color to change. Here's the back, and here's the front. Sorry, just had to emphasize that. Now, what colors shall I choose? Of course I chose the most bland looking color of all. Well, let's just see what the brown/green marker looks like. Now that that's done, let's try the color changing marker. That was anticlimactic. Granted, I did choose a dark color. That color changes into another dark color, but I can't erase it. So let's just follow through with the job. And I'll say this yellow and orange color, chef's kiss. Color changing mechanism, marvelous. And also, even though I kind of talked down on the brown-green marker earlier, I found that it works pretty well with palm trees, or even just trees in general. Using the other markers, I found myself quite impressed with the quality. They applied rather smoothly, and the inks were potent enough. Of course, they're not to the level of professional green markers, but they work quite well for what they are. And this black pen is just what I expect from a brand like Papermate. The ink can run smooth, albeit a little smudgy if you don't let it dry long enough, which I definitely didn't do, but it's a solid pen. Bringing back the color changing markers for some extra small small details, making sure that at least most of the space is utilized well. And there we have the front. Time to move on to the back. And first step, I'm drawing the color index boxes, except they're the shape of stars, because star clearly equals starfish, which is related to beaches, which is related to summer. Using the text design on the front, I'm titling the word key with the same styling, and then writing the 4 rarities next to each star. This time, I'm going with common, uncommon, rare, and legendary, and then my signature. Let's now add the colors for each rarity, and now I want to take advantage of the color changing marker and color in half of each star so that each star has 2 colors. Don't forget the color change at the top as well. And it seems like we are done with the front. Now to the inside item. I'm back, and I brought some lined paper. You can never go wrong with lined paper. Take one piece out, and before we do anything else, I'm going to take out a clear divider as my working surface so that I don't get any stains on my white surface. And now we can start making our first item. And with our black pen, we can draw our design. Here's our perfect time to use these crayons that I bought. There's a lot of colors in here. I think I'm going to take this brown crayon and I'm going to color in our design. In case you can't tell what I'm making, it's going to be a coconut. The color looks alright, but as you might see, the wax already snapped on the inside. Look at how much I used already. Whatever. Let's just cut out our coconut first with our dollar store scissors, drawing extra line and cutting the latter piece off. And with this second shape, I'm going to use this brown crayon again. And I'm coloring one side of the paper, and we all saw that coming, didn't we? And I don't think I colored the coconut right. I'm rotating the paper and only coloring the edge. There, that's better. Using my black pen to define the edge a little bit better. Alright, tape. Now, I'm gonna need you because we need to attach the 2 pieces of paper together. Even though the tape wasn't that great, thankfully, it was willing to cooperate with me. Now, I want to make a squishy that can fit inside our coconut, so I'm going to use my leftover scrap lined paper for that purpose. Draw that in, cut that out real nice. Like, real nice. People are watching. From here on, it's just the same process of making a paper squishy. Taping the edges together, stuffing our paper squishy. I'm just going to stick with paper scraps as my stuffing. Good thing I have plenty of these, that's for sure. You know what I just realized? I probably could have purchased sponges, and that would have worked better. Dang it. I'm actually going to use my clear divider to add something to our coconut paper squishy. It's going to be a plastic straw. I think the transparent effect really adds to the design. So our first item is finished, and now we can make our second item. Anyways, we're going to start by taking our color changing markers to draw our design. Using lined paper again, this is going to be our sunscreen bottle, because amid the heat, no one really wants to get a sunburn. Maybe a suntan for sure, but definitely not a sunburn. Personally, my skin is more on the pale side, so I almost never go outside without sunscreen with at least an SPF 50 on. My skin just burns so easily. I used to not wear sunscreen at all, and now I spend my days wondering how I could ever skip sunscreen. It's kind of a must for me, but let me know in the comments if you burn easily under the sun. Back to our item, let's cut it out. And we're now going to cut a little strip of paper. I'm making this sunscreen into a little pull-out card. This bit right here will prevent the strip from detaching from the sunscreen. You'll see what I mean. On this strip of paper, I'm going to draw what happens to you if you don't wear sunscreen on a hot day versus if you do wear sunscreen. Next, I'm going to be making little strips of paper to keep our drawings attached to the sunscreen. It's a little bit hard to describe in words, but do you see this like black stick figure? We can pull it out and back in. To make our message clear, let's add some labels and text. You see this? So our items are done, but now we need to make bags to hold our items. Starting with the sunscreen, I'm using it to measure the size of the bag. What rarity shall we make this? Common it is. This time, I'm just writing the rarity directly on top of the bag for the sake of convenience. There's nothing wrong with convenience, right? Tape the bag up, insert our sunscreen, and seal it up. You're starting to frustrate me, clear tape. Alright, so obviously we're going to do the same thing for the coconut, making it back to hold our squishy. And what rarity shall we make this one? Alright, looks like we're going to stick with rare this time. By the way, I choose these rarities at random, so if I happen to pick the same rarities, just know that it's a coincidence. Yeah, my opinion for this clear tape went from to the. Seal it off, and let's bring in our blind bag cover to complete our blind bag. So I may have neglected the fact that this flap would cover the back, but it's okay. We can just tuck the flap in and tape it that way. And with that, our dollar blind bag is complete. Except you forgot one thing. Yeah, I kind of forgot about this guy, but now it's unboxing time. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you guys later. Meepyblues out.